Good morning. Hello. Hello. It's a little bit dull today, so hopefully you can see me okay. Been up a few hours, been waiting for the light to... Oh, it's getting better. Very dull grey day, but it's getting better. Can I help you, birds? I'm making a video. Thank you. You can go and lay in your bed. Thank you. He always gets so excited when I make a video. He loves my videos. Okay, so I'm going to do another one of my thoughts on this dull grey day. I'm all wired up. I've got my my heart monitor on me as I'm making this. This is Saturday morning, so when this goes up I don't know, but and I got one of the pads, it's so itchy right in the middle. She had to shave me in a couple of little places, and it's driving me insane. I've been patting it and touching it and things like that, but I don't want to damage. The little thing that records your heart is only maybe 2 inches long by about an inch wide, if that. It's about that wide and about that long. Got to have it on for 72 hours, so Monday morning it'll go. Yeah, I'm feeling fine though, really, so we'll see what it says. Cheers. Okay, we're into December, well into December now, aren't we? I hope everybody's got over all the voting malarkey, and my God, people were moaning and whinging and whining, some were arguing on Facebook. Who cares? It is what it is. So I have another one of my thoughts to do from Patrick B. Patrick B says, what are my thoughts on people being judged by their appearance, income or job title? It's a really good one, that, actually, because we're all going to answer it the same way. Oh, I try not to ever judge people. That's true, and it's very, that's how we should live our lives, and that's how I try to live my life. On people being judged by their appearance, income or job title. I'll tell you what, and this is honest, I've never ever judged anybody on their job title or their income. I'm not a job snob. I've done jobs, you can look back in the videos, but I've done jobs from a dustman to a warehouseman, a grass cutter, to teaching, to counselling. I've done all manner of different things really in my life, so I don't judge. That's my belly, by the way, if you can hear me. It's going like that. Sounds like a sheep. Sounds like I've eaten a sheep, but the sheep's still alive. Yeah, I don't judge on sort of income. I couldn't care less really whether somebody's rich or poor. I don't think money or the lack of money makes you the person that you are. It's nicer for the poor to have a little bit more money, obviously, so they can enjoy their life. But rich people, I suppose, if I'm honest, rich people can be very sort of standoffish, and I think what happens with very rich people is they separate themselves from other people. Then they frown upon them, they start to look down upon them. So they do judge, and unfairly, totally unfairly, they do judge. Certainly they do judge. I've seen it for myself. But yeah, job title and stuff, no, that's never interested me. I've never judged anybody on that. However, I have been judged. I was working for a particular company a few years back, and I had a manager, then the under manager, then all of us lot. And after just a few months, the under manager suddenly jacked it in. And I'd been watching him and I thought I could do his job. So I applied for his job, and rightly or wrongly, I did let the others know. I said, look, I've applied for his job, just to let you know. And somebody said, well, if you're applying, I'm going to apply. And that's all fine. Anyway, 4 of the team applied for the job, and I actually got his job, luckily. And that was absolutely fine. But one person couldn't really get to grips with it for a while. You know, instead of we call them unkind things. But in the end, that person got to be a bit of a pain. And I arranged one of the meeting rooms, and I called him and I said, I've arranged a meeting room at 10:15. We need to have a talk. And he came in and I said, just cards on the table. I don't think you're happy with me that I've got this job, but I've got this job. Simple as that. You know, I am now in a different role. The role does dictate to me what I do, what I need to do, blah, blah, blah within the team. And you need to listen to me. It's as simple as that, really. If you've got a problem with that, then you have to go to, you know, the manager and have a conversation with him. But that's where the land is. That's how we are now. Yes, I started at the same rate as you, the same job as you. I'm not that person anymore, you know, and I had to sort of talk like that to him. In the end, he was okay, really. I mean, he wasn't brilliant, but he was okay and kind of got to grips with it. But he judged me because I was on a bit more money and my job title, and you know, he kind of got friendly with me at the beginning when we were on kind of that level, if we're talking about levels. And because I'd gone up a little bit of a level, he didn't really like it. But that was his problem and not mine. But I don't judge people, not on income, not on jobs or anything like that. It's not important to me. I probably, if I'm honest, and I'm not a saint, but if I'm honest, I really value people that do a job like a street cleaner. I think they do an amazing job, really, really good. And over the years, I have told various people that they're doing a fantastic job, and I mean it. You know, and dustmen do a wonderful job, obviously, don't they? And the grass cutters doing the roundabouts and the verges, what a fantastic job. You know, rat catcher or whatever, what a fantastic job. We need these people. Toilet cleaners, we need the toilet cleaners in our lives. How awful is it when you go into, say, a public convenience and it's revolting in there? You know, we need that. But we need everything in between as well. Everything, right from there to there. If again, we're talking about levels, it's always awkward when you say, oh, I don't judge anybody. I like people from there to there. Well, then you've just judged everybody on a scale. So, yeah, so we do judge, really. I think we all judge. I do try not to, but I have found myself judging people. I walked years ago now, about, Bodie was with me. I was travelling maybe 3 years ago now, something like that. We got a bit lost, if I'm honest. We went to this park and we went out of this park somehow, and it was getting dusk, getting evening time. And I came out of where I thought I was going, and I walked down the road and it was totally, totally different. Really different. And I thought, my God, I don't know where I am. Anyway, I thought I'd go to the bottom of the road and see if I can work out where I am. So I walked down, it was a slight incline, and walked down there. And it became even more confusing. So we walked around, we went back up the sort of hill, and in through the park. And I thought, right, we came out of this, and it was getting dark by then, you know, really getting dark. And we went through this one path, and I thought, that is the path that we've just come out of to that gate. When I came in, I thought it was a dead straight path. Did I turn right or left? And I had to really sort of think it through. And I was slowly walking through this park as it got darker and darker. And I remember it going round slightly to that way. So I thought, if I bend to the left, if I can find the path. But then I heard a group of male voices. And as I got closer to them, they were all about, I don't know how many there was, maybe 6, 8, 10, who knows. but a gang of young lads, probably 18, 20, something like that. And most of them had hoodies on and all the rest of it. And I judged, because had I had seen 8 or 10 young women of 18 or 20, wouldn't have bothered at all. But do you know what? I got really ready to fight my way out of there. Got really ready, really wound myself up so much I was about to explode. Anyway, I managed to walk past them. They never said a word. But I judged them, totally judged them, you know. No, is that right or is that wrong? Because I think it's self-preservation, maybe, you know. If the human race would have always judged people. So the caveman would have looked out and thought, that group of people looks okay, or they're dodgy over there, I'll stay away from that dodgy lot. So he knew his tribe, he met his tribe, and his tribe, I still use now today, but his tribe is just his vibe, energy. I mean, you exchange energy with everybody, and if you like someone's energy, you get a nice feel back from them. Normally they're fine, aren't they? However, if you feel a bit prickly towards somebody, then normally they're not okay. And yes, I've been proved wrong over that as well. You know, sometimes I had a boss a long time ago, never liked him. Actually, he wasn't a boss. He was sort of middle management. Never liked him. Everybody said, in fact, they said what a miserable bastard he is. Always scowling, always looked like he hadn't slept and all the rest of it. I never liked him, never got on with him. And one day he decided he'd tear me to strips in front of people, and I proved that he was totally wrong in front of them. And I said, before you open your mouth, check my work, you know. And we had a right old sort of stand-up, and give him his due, he called me in the day, and he said, could you come to the office at 3 o'clock, please? So, fine, whatever, you know. So I went to the office, I'm just having a fag and a Slurpee, by the way. Went to the office, and I was a bit wound up then, really, because I thought, number one, he tore me off in front of a couple of staff, you know, and he shouldn't have. But anyway, I went in there, and he said, oh, thanks for coming. He said, I do apologise. This is what he said straight away. I do apologise about earlier. And I said, oh, right. And he said, yeah, I was totally wrong, totally out of order, and, you know, I got it wrong. What did he say? No, I called it wrong. He was a funny guy. He said, I called it wrong. He said, on this occasion, I called it wrong, and I do apologise. And I said, that's fine. I said, thank you very much. I said, if there is a problem with my work, I would appreciate you doing what you're doing now, calling me into the office, not trying to tear strips off me in front of people. And he said, and again, that was wrong of me. I thought, bloody hell, you know. And I said, well, I really appreciate that, thank you very much. And he said, you don't like me a lot though, do you? And I said, no. I said, there's not a lot to like, is there? Not really, you know. You just kind of scowl around the place, you know, sighing. That's what he used to do all the time. And not talking to anybody, and when he did, he sort of like that. And he said, yeah, I know. He said, I've got so much going on, you'd never believe it. And I said, like what? I wasn't even interested. I said, well, like what? And do you know what? We had a lovely conversation in the end. It turns out he's got 2 disabled daughters at home. That poor man, you know, he works long, hard hours, absolutely knackered. Often he gets no sleep whatsoever and still comes into work, never misses work. And really commendable. And I felt so sorry for him. And I shook his hand and I said, you've just turned into a human being in front of my very eyes. And that's what I said to him. Yeah, I mean, we had a lovely chat, really. Nice guy in the end, I thought. So I was proved wrong, and I've been proven wrong not just once, many, many times. How many times do we get that feeling we don't particularly like somebody? Somebody said when they watched my channel, going back a few years, it was in the recommended list on the right hand side, and he clicked on one of the videos and kind of spun through it, and thought, what an idiot, what an arsehole, because I think I was moaning about the Queen, something like that. And he said, what an arsehole. Anyway, the following day, because he bloody clicked on it, he was then recommended my newest video, and he watched that, and he said that really cut deep. He was going through various problems, and I'd addressed some of those problems within that video. And he said that video just came at the right time. And that's when he sent me a message. And I didn't know, but, you know, a couple of years later or so, he sent me a message to say, when I first found you, I thought, what an arsehole. The second day, I really listened and I appreciated. So, yeah, he judged me. We all judge in ways. Shouldn't do, but we do. And I think we always will. The most important thing to remember is whatever, you know, anybody's opinion of me is none of my business. It matters not really. It really doesn't. I've said in videos before, I like to be liked because, yeah, that's nice, isn't it? But if somebody takes umbrage to you, if somebody doesn't like you, if somebody, you know, whatever, that's none of your business really. It doesn't matter. It's just none of your business. And they're only one person out of how many billions are on this planet, you know, and if somebody doesn't like you for whatever reason, and also the reason is probably made up in their own heads, because the interesting thing is that there is a version of you in so many people's heads. Everybody that you've ever met, in fact, there is a version of you. Now that version can be very, very different to who you are and what you are. But there is a version of you. And that is where we judge, and we hold that judgment in our head. All of us do that, because I've met people, well, like I just mentioned about that guy who with the two daughters. My version is a man who sighs, who's miserable, horrible sort of man. That is the version. Now, imagine, I wouldn't have thought he would do this, but imagine every day he finished work, he went down the pub, had a couple of quick jars and a game of pool and a laugh with his mates. Then he went home and started looking after his daughters. His mates, they would hold this version of this guy who was always bubbly, happy, friendly, chatty, good or bad at pool, who liked to drink, and, you know, whatever. So they would hold a completely different image of that man than I would. So everybody you've ever met holds a version of you. And the version may be very different to the real you, you know. And also, I suppose that's another thing, is the real you. Who gets to know the real you? You know, if somebody wanted to judge the real me, they sit down and judge and tell me, you know, sit down and judge me and say, I think this, you know, if they're talking about the real me, not a version of me, not a version of me that they've made up in their own heads, you know, and we all do that, as I've just said, really. So yeah, an interesting topic, Patrick. I don't feel there's any need to judge anybody, but like I say, we do it to a degree, and I really try not to do it. I try to see the best in everybody as much as possible. Not always easy to see the best in people, but you know, I do believe in the good of people. I help run a really big van life, full-time van life Facebook group. And often, well, not often, sometimes people say on there that one of the neighbours, wherever they parked, gave them a mouthful, or what happened recently was somebody wrote a note and put it under the windscreen and things like that. And that's obviously those people are judging that person that lives in the van. Maybe they're envious even or maybe they've had trouble in the past. Maybe they got a version of a traveller in their head, you know, and we get that fairly regular, really. You know, and I always, even when I was travelling, I would just see the very best of people. Everybody you meet is, you know, they've been born, so they've got perhaps a loving family in the background, or you know, a nice mum or a nice dad, or they did have, or they had a nice quality of life as they were growing up, or they went through school and they learned things, they had friends, maybe they did things, did a walk for charity, who knows what they did in their lives, you know. And it bleeds all the way through, and they may turn bad at the end, and they may turn bad at the end through, I don't know, whatever, mental illness or whatever, you know, a set of circumstances. You look at somebody who's homeless, and rather than recoiling because they're dirty, their skin is dirty, that person had all of that and more probably. You know, a loving mum, a decent home. Something went wrong somewhere in their lives, and my heart goes out to those sort of people, really. You know, I don't judge somebody because of their clothing. I don't judge somebody because they've got dirt on their skin. I would never do that. That's not me at all. But people do. I think people like the familiar, people like kind of what they are, and they surround themselves with what they are. And again, we'll do that to a degree. If you work in London on the stock exchange, then all your friends are of the same ilk. You know, a lot of the time they're of the same ilk. If you're a barrister, then your friends are, you know, you're not going to be friends perhaps with, I don't know, your dustman, you know, or whatever. But then the dustman, his mates will be dustmen and what have you, you know, and probably won't have too many friends that are barristers, you know, or politicians. I mean, look at the politicians, and you know, they're friends with each other. Look at the royalty. Look at Prince Andrew, the paedophile. Look at his friends. You know, look at, in fact, look at the royal family and look at all their paedophile friends. Look at Jimmy Savile being their friends. You know, it makes you wonder, doesn't it, really? And Epstein being not related, but in a friendship with Prince Andrew wouldn't surprise anybody, would it? Of course it wouldn't, you know. But then Prince Andrew is not going to be friends with a dustman. I'm just saying dustman because why not? You know, so that's not judging, but that is, you do gravitate towards your kind, your tribe. Yeah, if we can not judge, it's better. I do try not to judge, and I do sometimes catch myself judging, but that's a good thing, to catch yourself judging, because you think, hang on, what am I doing here? Why am I thinking this? Why am I, you know, what's making me think this or feel this about this particular person, and what can I do to change it, and should I be thinking things differently? Okay, we're off. Thank you very much, Patrick. Take care and be well. Have a good day. Ta-ra. Bye.